cameras, cups, anything like that, please do not leave any of those items over this fencing or rest them on those posts or that inside lip. We don't want anything falling in here. I give you about 30 good reasons why you don't want anything falling in here, but we do understand that accidents happen. So if you do drop anything in this habitat or any of our other habitats today, please just let the nearest staff member know so we can safely retrieve that item. That being said, we do have to consider our safety and our animal safety before retrieving anything, so no promises. But joining me here in our alligator lagoon are those 30 good reasons you don't want anything falling in here. It's a 30 adult American alligators, all pretty good size. Our longest one's actually hanging out right across the water from you. You can just kind of see his head poking out there. But as little bit of alligators you see, there's about 13 and a half feet of American alligator there. So pretty good size by all means. But as large as these alligators are, they're nothing compared to their ancient ancestors. They used to roam around these parts around 80 million years ago. That animal was known as Deinosuchus, or terrible crocodile, and they got up to 40 feet and 20,000 pounds. So if you took one of our larger alligators in here and put about 4 of them tip to tail and added a whole bunch of weight on the sides, that's what you'd be looking at when you saw Deinosuchus. Now to be that big, you gotta be eating some pretty big things. And luckily, 80 million years ago, there were a lot of large things moving around. You may have heard of them before, the dinosaurs. And that's exactly what Deinosuchus would eat. So an incredible predator to be able to take down something like that. But since then, they've shrunken down quite a bit. No reason to be that big anymore. Don't really have many dinosaurs like that running around. They still have this prehistoric, almost ancient look to them. But don't take that ancient look as a lack of intelligence, because these are incredibly intelligent animals. They have a true cerebral cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for higher thought and learning. And we use that to our advantage here at the zoo, and we do a little bit of training with our alligators, so we'll see if anybody wants to show that off. Hey, Wally, can you open up for me? Oh, you can open up bigger than that. Wally. Show me that smile. There you go. Good job. Now we do this training for a couple different reasons. First off, we like to show off how impressive and intelligent the American alligator is. We're also using this training so that we can take better care of it. So when I ask an alligator to open up their mouth, like Snaggletooth here, hey Snaggletooth, I can look inside her mouth, make sure her mouth and teeth are looking nice and healthy. See there, looking good. And obviously I'm getting pretty close to these alligators too. So I can take a look at the rest of their body, making sure that's looking good, and then we give this information to our vets. Or better yet, bring our vets down here so that they can take a closer look. Now, when I say we're training these alligators, by no means do I mean they're tame. The alligators down here with me are actually more dangerous than the ones you would find out in the wild, for the simple fact of what you've already seen me do. I'm feeding them, so they see me as a food source, and they're very comfortable with me. For alligators out in the wild, they have a natural fear of humans. They actually want to be going the opposite direction. So by doing this, yes, I am putting myself into a more dangerous situation, but it's all for the betterment of these alligators and making sure they get the care they need and deserve. Luckily, when it does come to alligator healthcare, we are not taking our alligators to the vets as often as our pets at home. They have this nice thick skin that's going to act as an armor, and then on the inside, their blood has an antibiotic quality to it. So fighting off things like infections is a lot easier for them to do. And with that hardiness also comes longevity. One of the questions we get asked pretty frequently here is, what's the oldest Everything all right over there? So one of the questions we get asked pretty frequently here at the zoo is, what's the oldest alligator in the lagoon? And to simply put it, I can't tell you, because without having their hatch dates, we can't tell exactly how old these alligators are. But I can tell you they live about as long as we do. 70 to 80 years is not unheard of when it comes to American alligators. And when you're looking at them, don't think the biggest one is the oldest one, because that may not be true. While age does play a factor in how large these alligators get, so do their genetics, the environment that they're in, and if they're male or female. Males do tend to be a little bit larger, averaging around 11 to 12 feet. So you can kind of see Lockjaw sitting there with his back and his tail there. It's a great example of an average male alligator, where females are going to be a little bit smaller, averaging around 7 to 9 feet. So these lovely ladies sitting right here in front of me are great examples of that. What you are seeing here today is very typical alligator behavior. In fact, these animals, they're not moving around very much. For the most part, they're all just hanging out here in the water. We said a few of them hanging out on land today, but since the sun's gone away, they're going away from that. And that's very crucial for them to be sitting here doing nothing, because that's a very essential behavior to stay alive. These are ectotherms, or cold-blooded animals. They rely on the outside environment to regulate their body temperatures. So they've got to follow the sun to keep them warm, or go into the warmer water if it's too cold out on land. So that's why you see them sitting down there. Now up on land, when they're in the sun, they're really good at warming up. Even yesterday, when it was only 40 degrees in some parts of the day, we had sun out here, and they could warm up because of few